Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Selma. Yeah, what's up, man? Good morning, Christina. How are you guys doing? Just waiting for Jay to jump on and then we'll get into it, guys. Here he goes.
What's up?
What's up, Jay? We are live and alive.
Live and alive. Oh, they come in this morning. I'm just trying to connect my camera. I can't find
China G.
What's going on, China G? How we doing? Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, yeah.
What's been going on, C?
Just taking one day at a time, that's how it's always been. Yeah, it's just trying to get things back to normal.
You're what, sorry? Trying to get things back to normal? Are you talking about like from the damage and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've got you.
Yep. I can hear you. I can hear you moving around, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my my charger. I wasn't able to find it for a second there. For my camera. Dying. Man, let me tell you this: the subway. It's crazy. Subway season just started. Crazy subway season started because when the weather gets colder, a lot of people who spend a lot of time outside, sometimes they're homeless, sometimes they just don't want to go to wherever. Maybe they don't want to go home or whatever. Maybe they just whatever. They don't have a place to go, especially when it's cold. And sometimes they don't even have a place to sleep. So you get a lot of people who sleep on the subway. Yeah, I take the subway really early in the morning, so those people are still on the subway sleeping.
Yeah.
So sometimes they're sprawled out on the whole seat, laying down, shoes off, stuff like that. But you see more and more people during the morning. So this guy comes in. For the first person that came in, they usually pass through the doors, right? The subway doors. So the first person came in. When I say the subway doors, like the car doors, there's like, when each car is connected with the door. Yeah. So the first person comes in, he got food all over his face, which I'm sure he got from the trash. And it's like he has one barefoot, one sock, and I can't. Don't Nobody can understand what he's saying because he has a really heavy accent, and
Mm,
his food just flying out of his mouth as he's talking. He's like, and he has like 30 cents in his hand, and he keeps shaking his hand. So I'm assuming he's asking people for money, right?
mm,
So he's just like splatting food out of his mouth. So I'm like, I don't. First of all, I don't sit in the subway, like rarely ever. Not just because I like to stand, as you know, I'm a standing. As you know, all these lives, most of them I'm standing, but not just because of that. I also don't because I always got to be ready. You never know what's gonna happen. You got to stay ready. You know what I mean? Somebody does something or like wants to attack you or something like that. You have to like. I don't like to sit and have somebody have the advantage of standing over me. So I just stand up. And but now because I'm standing up, I'm literally like in the line of this guy. Might The food might fly out of his mouth and hit me. So 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 I'm just like, oh man. So he stops and he stands beside me. So at least I'm not in the line of fire anymore while he's
mm,
talking. And then you see like a couple people just kind of leave and go the other way. Um, so that was the first one, and then he just went to the next car. Most of the time, this is harmless, but you just always have to be ready. Whenever you're in a big city or anything like that, you just always got to be ready. So then we got the like a little while later, a younger guy, maybe in his 20s. He comes in again through the car, right? And then he comes in and he's dressed in all black and he's shadow boxing. So he's dressed in all black. He stumbles in and grabs the pole beside me, and he's like, "Sorry," and he starts shadow boxing out of nowhere, like in the middle of the subway, with like it's with people standing there. What the heck? So so I'm like, "Oh, great." Um, I was like, "Is it? What's this guy's trying to size me up?" So he's going like this. I got my camera working. He's going like in the subway. So I'm standing there, probably like this close to him, right?
mm.
And he asked me for the time, which I've been asked for the time before when somebody tried to rob me or do something. So he asked me for the time. But guess what? My Apple Watch is dead. So I told him, I was like, I don't got the time. So I was like, and he's like, is it 6 a.m.? And I said, I don't got the time, bro. And then he starts doing stretches, like holding the pole, stretch, stretch. I guess he could have been going to a class and he just awesome. Could have been going to like a boxing class or something. But but yeah, so that's the subway stories. The subways are hot when the weather is cold.
That's a good one. But it seems like the subway's always hot in New York though. Like you always see the weirdest stuff.
That's true and false. First of all, the New York transit systems, well, specifically the subway system, it's very, very, it's huge. There's so many lines. Like by my place, there's 11 subway lines, right? So
Mm,
like, there's so many subway lines that if you're gonna say like, oh, I see this happen often, it doesn't happen often. It's just way too many lines. And take it from somebody who takes a subway every day, multiple times a day, because I go to the gym, then I go to work, and sometimes I go out after work to meet people. So I take the subway multiple trips a day. Um, I I I would say there are some things that happen, but not nearly as much as you'll see on like social media and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. Not as much as you would think. The subway is relatively safe, but you also still have to be smart.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True. That
All
that
right.
video that video we saw, Jay. Remember when with the lady that the guy set her on fire?
You know, I don't know if that happened here or if that happened in Chicago.
Mm,
Because the other day I was listening to a live, and it was like a debating live, and that was brought up because apparently the person was like they were a foreigner that was here illegally, and then the guy was saying, the woman that was debating him was like, just like in Chicago when the foreigner guy set the woman on fire, the illegal immigrant set the woman on fire. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was here. I could double check, but I just remember seeing the video real quick and then seeing the officers, and I thought it was NYPD officers. So I don't know if that
Mm.
was here in Chicago. If you guys know in the chat, let me know. Well, good morning to everybody in the chat. It's good to see everybody here. OG Yaya, what's up? Good to see the conversations with Jay. What's up? Codex, what's up? Who else we got in here? Selma, what's up? Maria, what's up? Christina, how you doing? Who else we got in here? China G. Who else we got in here?
Nurse Bay.
Nurse Bay. Good morning to all of you guys. Good morning to all of you guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to close my office door because I feel like I'm speaking loud, and we started a little bit late, so there's actually people coming into the office right now. There we go. This morning I was reading a book called 12 Rules for Life, and I do want to actually touch on this book a few times next week or the week after. Not 12 Rules for Life, sorry. 12-week year, the 12-week year. And the reason why is because this is like goal setting season. And I think that this would be a good book for you guys to review, or at least just watch some of these lives when I'm talking about this, because it's exactly how it sounds. A 12-week year. It's all about taking your year's goals and doing them in 3 months. And it sounds crazy, but one of the first quotes in the book is if you did everything you were capable of, you would astound yourself, or something like that. And I think that we're capable of way more, but the law, forgot what the law is called, but there's this law that basically says that human beings will complete the task in the time allotted. So if you give yourself an hour to do something, you'll probably do it in the last 15 minutes of that hour, when really it only would have taken 15 minutes. We're like special when it comes to procrastinating. I don't know how we're that special. I don't know if there's another living being on earth that procrastinates. Like, you know what I mean? Every other being just gets to it. The cheetah just jumps and runs. Like, the only reason why it's waiting, it's not procrastinating, it's waiting for its moment. But maybe that's what we're doing too, right? We're waiting for the right moment to do the dishes, to load the dishwasher, or but no, really great book. And I'm not going to get too much into it today, because I actually noticed that I was like, this note that I have here that I started, the first date I put here is August 2022. So I actually have been reading this book for 3 years. I think I've read it twice, and so this is my third time in 3 years. And I actually want to create a cohesive note out of this, because I've been writing a lot about the book for all this time, and then I want to put it out so that people could download it if they want. Like, if they want to download like a PDF, maybe we could put like a link and then they could download it. So I won't get too much into it today, but there is a few things that I did want to get into, just to start in the beginning of this book, before I get into the 5 principles. Five disciplines. There are 3 principles according to this book. There are 3 principles: accountability, commitment, and greatness in the moment. And what those principles essentially mean is, accountability means you got to start, right? You got to hold yourself accountable to actually start, because knowledge isn't the problem. Execution is the problem. We all know what to do, but we don't always execute on what to do, right? So you got to start. That's you holding yourself accountable, or somebody else also holding you accountable to start. Then we've got commitment. That is the staying and sticking with it, right? So you might start to do the task, start to um, let's just say, start to change your diet. Okay, maybe you want to cut out soda out of your diet. So you've held yourself accountable to start. But in order to continue the no soda, you're going to have to commit to it, and that's the longevity. And nothing really happens without that consistency. I've coached hundreds of people over the years, and I can't tell you how many times it just came down to It's not that you don't know how to do it. It's not that you won't do it. It's that you won't stay with it. You won't stick with it long enough to see something happen, to make something happen, right? Yesterday, one of my agents signed a listing, and it's her first listing. I was speaking to her about it yesterday evening, and she's been trying to get this for like 5 months, and has not nothing has happened. But she is usually in the office just a little bit after me, and she'll leave a little bit before me. And I'm usually in the office from like 7:15 to 7:15. So my point is that she's been working at it 8 to 10 hours every day, and it took her 5 months to get what she knew she could get. But it was the commitment. But a lot of people, they won't stick around that long. I think it was Angela Duckworth that said, she wrote the book Grit. I think it was her, but I remember it was a lady that said this. The lady said, "You may be able to be better than me, you may be able to beat me, but you'll never last longer than me. You'll never be more consistent. I'm willing to do this until the end, right? You're never going to last longer than me, and that's where I win, because most people who are better than me, and most people who are able to beat me, and most people who have done this before, maybe even have more experience than I do, they aren't willing to do it as long and stick to the process. All right. Now, of course, is there time that you have to say, you know what, this is probably not the right way to do this, or is this what I want, stuff like that? Of course. But that's few and far between. Most of the time, you already know this is good for you. And if you are second guessing, it's probably just fatigue or excuses, right? So those are the first two: accountability and then commitment. And then the last one is greatness in the moment. You don't got to be great all the time. You just have to have moments of greatness, right? You don't have to be great 24 hours a day, wake up feeling like $1 million and just crush every moment in your day, right? I always say greatness is a choice, and you have that choice every single moment of every single day. So choose your moments, right? I'm not telling you have to be great every single time. It's impossible. But what the book is telling you, and what I agree with, is that you have to pick those spots of greatness. For example, when you do feel like, you know what, I don't want to do any more reps, you got to just be great and say, you know what, I'm picking this moment of greatness right now. I don't know how a fruit fly got it. It's annoying. I'm picking this moment of greatness right now just to stick to it. Can you actually see it in the camera? You're on mute.
No,
Um,
no, no, I can't see it in
okay.
the camera.
Yeah. Like, yeah, yesterday, I was leaving the office at the same time as my COO, and we were in the elevator together, and we were walking the same direction. So we were just talking, and he was like, "What do you got planned for the rest of your evening?" Because I was telling him I was tired in our meeting earlier today. He's like, "You look tired." I was like, "Yeah, I am," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to the gym." He's like, "What?" I said, "Look, man, I committed to it." He's like, "What? Why don't you just go home and sleep?" And I said, "Because if I build that habit of that direction, it's going to become sorry. If I build that habit in that direction, it's going to become regular. That I say, you know what, today I'm tired." Um, and so I said, "Look, you know me, I just show up. So I'll get there. I'll try to do what I could do. And if I can't do it, then I won't." I got there, I did 9 exercises, played basketball, and went around the track upstairs. So I just needed to show up. And yes, I was tired, but once I got there, I was like, okay, I'm good. Right. So my point is, I chose the moment of greatness. Or I could have just chilled and went home and had the rest of my day. Right. So it's just about choosing those moments of greatness, because I could tell you, in our meeting, the reason why he asked me, like, are you okay? You're good, is because I wasn't great in that moment. Right. So it's just about choosing your spots, and then say, you know what, this is one of those moments I got to be great right here.
Mm. I
Yeah.
get I feel like whenever you'd have those moments where you're saying you're tired and stuff like that, and you say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to the gym." You're thinking about what would Kobe do?
Well,
You're
Kobe
trying to
Kobe was
challenge
one of
Kobe.
the Kobe was one of the best in choosing his moments of greatness on the basketball court, right? Like, Kobe might not have a good shooting night, and then all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, when it's time to win, he's hitting every shot, including the game winner, right? He chooses his moments of greatness, and I think that's really important. I think that's also important to not put pressure on ourselves to always be superhuman, because we should never be superhuman, right? We can get superhuman results with consistency, choosing our spots in greatness and deciding to start, right? Those are three principles. We'll get superhuman results, but we aren't superhuman ourselves, right? I always tell people, if you based on my results, you would think that I'm like a machine, or as what's his name used to call me, a cyborg. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, Marcel.
Yeah. Um, so, um, anyways, facts and good morning. Um, there were a couple of things. Speaking of just like goals and 12-week year and stuff like that. I was I heard this interview of Damon Dash on the Breakfast Club, and he had said that this documentary was never going to come out, right? This Puff documentary that 50 Cent, I think, had creative control over, that was done by Netflix. It was said that it was never going to come out. Dame Dash just said that, I think, like a couple months ago. I think it was in September, as a matter of fact. And obviously it came out. But now it might be grand opening, grand closing. Because guess what? Puff sent them a cease and desist.
Mm.
Did you hear about that?
Um, Actually, I no, I didn't. But I'm not surprised that it happened. You know, it should
The
happen.
the angle the angle that he took, though, is an interesting angle. The angle he took, I'm not gonna. You guys can Google it. And there's a statement. I don't want to bore you guys and read it. I would if it was the evening time, but it's the morning. You guys got stuff to do. Um, but the angle he took is the footage that was used was stolen footage. You didn't have the right to use it. You didn't have the right to take it, and it shouldn't be in there because they were his own videos. So he has videos there of him talking to his lawyers, preparing for, I guess, actually his arrest, essentially, right? His indictment. Um, he has video of him in the car, like visiting people and then having private conversations. And according to the cease and desist that I read yesterday, he has been recording himself since he was 19 so he can create his own documentary.
Mm.
So this was all supposed to be footage that was not supposed to be released to the public. It was stolen because apparently, from what I heard, the rumor is that one of his original videographers wasn't able to make it for one or a few of the filming days. And that guy said, but I can send I don't know, another guy that works for him. Like, that's happened to me many times, right? Where my videographer or my photographer wasn't able to make it, but they're like, you know what? But I got C here for you. I'm gonna send C, and he's gonna take care of you. Um, but the loophole is my contract wasn't with C; it was with J, right? So they're saying that that's a loophole because we could take it from. So C sold the footage, obviously.
Mm.
Well, allegedly, I should say. Um, and then so that's a loophole. But if that person is a representative of that company or something, then the contract is also with the company. So I'm not sure. I know that being at the trial, Puff is very diligent in his contracts. A lot of stuff is bulletproof. That's why he has never been behind his taxes. You've never heard of anything business related with this guy. You've never heard of anything because he's a really, really incredible business person. So that's why when certain things happen in trials, like, well, that you seem smarter than that. That's how I know that you were under the influence of many things, including rugs and um, I don't know whatever else he does. But yeah, that's the latest. So it could be grand opening, grand closing. Like I said, I'm not watching it anyways. I'm not going to support the propaganda. Um, I'm not going to do all that. Speaking of propaganda, um, you heard about the Elon Musk Twitter thing?
Yeah, I heard.
Tell the people, yeah, tell the people what it is then.
I heard that they have this new thing now where it's or they're working on it, or it's launched or something, where now you can basically see the country that the Twitter account was made in when the profile was set up and all of that.
And
Uh,
where there are where it's being operated from, I think too.
oh, I don't know that one, but yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I feel like a lot of companies or even people who make a living off of that stuff, is gonna it will
Well, do you know
affect them. But
why he did that though?
I was reading something that says something about bots, something to do with like eliminating, helping people to identify bot profiles and stuff like that.
Well, that too, like it's because there's so much propaganda being spread on social media online, right? So because of that, for example, let's say there's a Twitter page that has, I don't know, 1 million followers, okay?
Hmm.
And they are giving news, I don't know, news from Washington, D.C.,
Hmm.
political news from Washington, D.C., for example, right? And they have everything Washington, D.C., and they say they're from Washington, D.C., and all this stuff. And you were to find out that that account was created in India and is operating in South Africa. Yet they have all this stuff about Washington, D.C. and talking about politics.
Hmm.
That account, now is a propaganda account. You know that somebody hired somebody to go and create all of this news, whether real news or fake news, doesn't matter, whether it's true or false. But there's an agenda here, and it loses credibility. It loses total credibility because you now know what do you this is whether it's true or false. This is somebody trying to put a bunch of stuff out there to actually to control people, essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I feel like it
I
should be
bet
that
you.
way.
I bet you there's a lot of LeBron James accounts like that.
I feel like it should be that way though. I feel like people do have a right to see where the account it was made, or
Yeah,
where
because
something
I
was.
want to know that you're actually incredible and you're not just like doing a bunch of stuff. Like you're not just hired by somebody, right, to push a narrative out
Mhm.
into the world.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're operating an account that's in based in India, for example, and you're talking about the American government and stuff that are portrayed to be what is currently happening and portrayed to be a reliable source, I'm gonna feel more inclined not to, follow that page, because it's like, all right, what do you really know? You're
You're not
operating in
American. You don't
India.
live in America. You really have
Yeah.
nothing to do with America. You're doing a job that somebody hired you to do so that they could push a narrative that they want to push.
Mm.
So I do think it's a good thing. Now, what's the flip side of that is people are saying that's invasion of privacy laws. Like what if that person didn't want to be like they didn't want you to know that they lived in Australia,
It
right?
doesn't
What,
matter.
what if it's not propaganda? They just have a regular channel
Mm.
just talking about hoops or talking about food, and
Mm.
they just want to be anonymous, and they're talking about food now, and that person's from, I don't know, Australia, like I said. Maybe they didn't want people to know that. Maybe it
It
had
should
nothing to
matter.
do with an
Why would
agenda.
they?
They just wanted to be private. They
Well,
didn't,
if you think
and
about,
it's if it shows where you're operating. Sorry to cut you off, but just to finish my point, if it shows where you're operating the account from currently, that means they know you're also there in Australia. I don't want you to know what country I'm at.
yeah, but if you think about it, you're saying just to be private, but I don't think it's really that simple. I feel like there's always, if somebody don't want you to know what country they're operating out of, or the account was made, they're thinking about more than that. It's not just privacy. So if
I
that's
don't
the
agree.
case, then
I don't agree.
you don't agree?
No,
I
because think
feel
about
like
it.
it should have been something that was implemented from a long time ago.
If there's
So,
let's stick with Australia. If
mm,
there's a person from Australia that visited New York one time and just fell in love with New York pizza, for example. Okay. I had 3 giant slices of pizza over the holiday weekend in a row. Yo, I'm not talking about little, like we ordered. I'm talking about, when you buy a slice and it's just supposed to have one slice, you buy a single slice
Mm.
and they cut it in half and there's 2 of it. I had 3 of those.
New York pizza is flat though, so.
Yeah, I get you. But what I'm saying, no, I'm just telling you because I don't eat pizza like that. But let's say that guy did that. He went out, he had these 3 slices of pizza. He's like, I love this pizza. And then he went back to Australia because he was only on vacation, right? But then he thought of something. He's like, I could make a niche channel that reviews a bunch of pizza spots in New York. Maybe he's not going and reviewing them himself. He's just he's getting videos of the place and stuff like that. Anonymous person. His channel blows up. A lot of pizza lovers follow this, or people are going to New York. They go to his channel to see some of the pizza spots that are highlighted on his account. Okay. Then everybody finds out he's from Australia, loses all credibility. So now he has to be like, yeah, because I went to New York once, but I did the research though, and I blah blah blah. But what if he was making money from his channel?
I see what
Or
you're
his
saying, but I don't think that
account?
I don't think that matters. I feel like if it does, I don't know. I feel like it's better for the people to know where the account is being
You
operated.
feel like if it's better for the masses, then screw the asses.
Yeah.
Oh, that pause, that came out bad.
Oh, I didn't even. Yo. No. Didn't
all
think
right.
about it. But
Yeah, so
I liked that you yeah, I feel like it is, yeah, you're right. If it's what you said, better for the masses, yeah. That's that's what I think. I feel like it
you
should
gotta
have been
sacrifice the
something.
rest.
Hmm?
I said then you gotta sacrifice the rest.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that people should have been implementing. Well, X or Twitter, when they were Twitter, should have been implementing a long time ago. That way, people would have been eased into it, and or would have already had expectation. Especially now, we've been in this age where everybody's making money off of social media, and people are quitting their jobs to make money off of social media, and or to become influencers. Everybody wants to be influencer. Even my brother, he's a TikToker now, and he's in his 40s.
And my client's son is 14 and he wants to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Do you see how, like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, which brings me to my next next thing, what I wanted to talk about, which is what is Australia doing right now, and they're
Speaking of
talking about.
Australia and
Yeah,
social media.
yeah. They, on the 10th of December, they will be implementing this whole technology, and passing this law which bans all children under 16 from using social media at all. I have a video where the Minister of Communication talking about, if you want me to play it, Jay.
Yeah, sure.
Just like a short TikTok. Give me a second.
Australia will become the first country in the world to ban under 16s from having social media accounts. With one law, we can protect Generation Alpha from being sucked into purgatory by predatory algorithms described by the man who created the feature as behavioural cocaine. Teenage addiction was not a bug, it was a design feature. And on 10 December, there are going to be withdrawal symptoms. Teenagers will be upset, some will fight to get back on, some will manage to find their way around the tech and keep their accounts. But I truly believe the short-term discomfort will be worth the long-term benefits. This law is world-leading, and countries around the world are taking our lead. Denmark, Greece, Romania, France, New Zealand, Malaysia, the European Commission have all signalled intent to introduce a minimum age for social media. American social psychologist and author of the book The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt, said, Australia's law, our law, is by far the most important single piece of legislation ever enacted on planet Earth to protect children in the internet age. 7 out of 10 kids are suffering or witnessing harm online in Australia as we speak. That is what we are trying to fix. And yes, it will be difficult. We don't shy away from the fact this is a rough transition. But like I said, every single parent who has talked to me about this since I've been the Minister for Communications has said, thank you, do not back down, and thank you for being the bad guy. Thank you for allowing me not to be the bad guy. Thank you for allowing me to say, this is against the law. The government has made this law. So I asked them to draw strength. They asked them to ask their child to write to me, if that would be of any assistance. I do video messages to transmit this message, whatever it takes. But I do not for a second think that this isn't worth doing.
Just not via Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts
three
about
things
that?
real quick. I want to hear your thoughts first, but I just want to say three things. Number one, what is she talking about? China has done that way, like, years ago. We're leading the world. Like, what is she talking about? China's been doing this and has had the same similar regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, how do you regulate it? And number three, what is the punishment? And who gets the punishment? The child or the parent? And what if the child doesn't have parents, like, present? Like,
Nope.
it sounds like an interesting idea. I was just wondering those three things. But go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I feel like it is important for them to do, and it's a good step in the right direction. Even if it's not fully, if it's not fully enforced, kind of like jaywalking, where it's not really, people still do it every day. I feel like because I've been seeing these videos too on social media where it's like, parents taking their tablets from their kids, their 2-year-olds or 5-year-olds, and they're throwing tantrums, literally like they're having seizures, Jay, because they've grown so reliant on those devices. Like
Yes,
my
but
my niece.
they didn't. I understand, but they didn't ban tablets. They just banned social media.
Yeah, but
Tablets are
the
used.
social media
A
is the content.
3-year-old
It's
doesn't
the
have a
social. I
tablet. Sorry,
know, but
Instagram account. Well,
I
for
know,
some
but
people.
yeah, but the social media is kind of is the same thing, because my niece, she gives her 2-year-old son her her Instagram, and he like just scrolls through and like watch stuff, or even on TikTok. So yeah, but I get what you're saying at the same time, like they don't have their own accounts and whatever, but I feel like that still will affect it in some way. um I I like that they said that other countries are following it. What you said about China was interesting as well. I did not know that, but I also think China didn't allow it to get that far where it was becoming, where they even had to implement regulations. They just never allowed it to happen.
No,
You
they
know what I
had regulations. I think the first regulation that they had was 14-year-olds couldn't be online past like 7 o'clock at night, or like something like that,
mean?
6 in the evening. Like 14 and under, you weren't even allowed online, let alone social media stuff. I'm just wondering, because you know what else is banned? TikTok. What did we just watch that on?
so,
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 like,
so
that's why I
like
said,
how
how are
we
you going to regulate it?
like yeah, that's true. And with the whole topic that we were just talking about with Elon Musk and X, and it's affecting job, people who create money from on X as well. Like, what about those kids who are under those ages who already had an account and is creating like a lot of money, like that 12-year-old who makes like 9 million a year or 13 million a year or something like that from like reviewing toys. I don't know what country he's from, but like, let's say the country he's from starts implementing that. How's that going to affect that child who,
Right, I
so.
think there'll be a transition period. I personally, I don't see why 16-year-olds should be on TikTok, 16
Mhm,
and under. I'm sorry, TikTok, Instagram, any of these social media platforms, because these, like the lady said, it's not even that the child's irresponsible or they could get addicted. You could get addicted to video games too. I'm pretty sure I was when I was a kid, and so that's not what I think the issue is. The issue is the algorithm is taking the mind of the child, and children are so impressionable, and the algorithm is shaping it the way it wants to, right? And putting things in front of their face and stuff like that, so it could shape the mind of somebody else's kid.
So
And it's way more powerful than the parents, because they spend more time on the app than they do with their parents.
mm. So I found another video of like some kid talking about it, and I wanted to play it and hear what you have to say about it as well. Let's get into it.
I believe that as a young Australian, we as a whole will have our constitutional right taken away from us, and we will also be invisible with this ban. We won't be able to share our views or opinions, and we won't be able to hear others' views and opinions, political or just about anything. Instead of cutting kids off from social media because we're not the problem, we should be cutting off the bad things about social media, the online bullies, the predators, and the explicit content.
Sounds like the opinion of a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything.
I wanted to say it because it
How
was
did 16-year-olds have a voice before social media? Oh my gosh. Like,
but
nobody,
I found it very funny too, because it's like, what do you know? He's talking about
he
we won't be
doesn't. He
allowed to
doesn't.
express
And
our
then
opinions.
he started saying like the bullies, the explicit, whatever. But that's not why this is taking place. And that's exactly what this lady is saying. There's going to be bullies online when you play your video games. If you're going to play video games online, which he can still do, there's all of those things. Bullies, explicit content, like all of that kind of stuff is in video games. All of that stuff is on the internet, regardless. You go to a chat room, you go to like a forum, or you go to anything, it's all still going to be there. You're just throwing a mature tantrum right now. And the other thing is, as well, he doesn't even understand that his mind is being warped. I shouldn't even say warped. I should say shaped, because it might be shaped in a good way. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But his mind is being shaped by a machine. And that's what the lady was trying to explain. And also, it's not even for him. She said Generation Alpha, which is not a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really not for him. It's for the kid that's like 5 now, or the 6-year-old now, so that it can change the culture, the laws. I know I was playing devil's advocate before, because I already know they can't enforce it. It's not going to be enforced. People are going to go around it, and there's not going to be a punishment for it. But it does change the culture, in that this is against the law, so it's we shouldn't do it. And if I
Well,
am
she did.
doing it, I'm doing something wrong. So it changes the culture moving forward to say that this is not okay.
Yeah.
For
People will
the
think twice.
generation coming up, it's not for him.
People will think twice about it. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Or
She
it's
did
just,
say
even if people don't think twice about it, it just becomes taboo when it's against the law.
that.
Even who is anybody going to get arrested for throwing a piece of paper on the ground after they eat a chocolate bar, or a wrapper on the ground? No, but it's against the law, right? And so it's just taboo to do.
Yeah, she did say that people will find a way around it and stuff like that, but it is like basically what I said, the right step, right step in the right direction. So
It's interesting. I don't 100% know how that will affect current people, but I do think it will be positive for the next generation.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, man, we've been on here for 45 minutes, and I am exactly 15 minutes late for my meeting. So it started at 8:30. But I have a 15 minutes grace period that's built into all my meetings. I appreciate everybody being on today. Thank you, C, for you being on and present today. And we probably will be on tomorrow, but tomorrow is a little bit, it's a Christmas party tomorrow. So I have some stuff to do in the morning. I'm going to try my best to be on, even if I could only be on audio and I can't set up my camera and stuff. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys. Go and be great. Greatness is a choice. You make that choice every moment of every day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
In the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker. Somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker. Somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Oh, when me choppers them. 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 Rags to me, flags to me, rags to me, flags to me, rags to me, flags to me. Yo, spin your rags in the air like a chopper. Wave your rags like a helicopter. Spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Round and round like a helicopter. Spin your rags in the air like a chopper. Wave your rags like a helicopter. Swing your rags in the air like a chopper. Hi, choppers fly, helicopters. We drunk cause we drink like a fish in the water. So high is like the world spinning faster. Dripping with sweat but it don't really matter. The music making me ball out. We see ladies and we call out. Them girls and them whining all out. Look a fight in the back, them brawl out. What? Me no business about that. Girls in me mind, so me thinking about that. Woman in the place, so me hunting for that. Bumpers in me face, so me on the attack. Just give me Henny, give me Stack. No racial thing, white oak, Johnny Black. Oh gosh, I got catch a jet lag. 1919 does have me feeling high. Like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy